Good day, everyone. Welcome to Unit 2, Understanding School Culture. So in this video, we will focus on defining school culture, values, and shared norms. So this concept may sound familiar because we experience them every day in school, whether we notice them or not. So before we begin, let me ask you a quick question. Have you ever noticed how different schools feel different, even if they follow the same curriculum? Some schools feel welcoming and supportive, right? While others may feel strict or distant. So these differences are not accidental. They are shaped by what we call school culture, values, and shared norms. So by the end of this discussion, you will better understand how these elements shape behavior, relationships, and learning in a school environment. Before we move on, let me share our learning objectives for this lesson. At the end of this lesson, you should be able to: first, define school culture, values, and shared norms and explain how they are related within a school environment. Second, identify and analyze examples of this concept in your own school through observation and discussion. And third, appreciate the importance of positive school culture and values by reflecting on your role in promoting shared norms and cooperation in the school community. So keep these objectives in mind as we go through the discussion. Let us begin with school culture. What is school culture? School culture refers to the shared beliefs, assumptions, attitudes, and practices of the people in a school. In simple terms, it is the overall feel or personality of the school. So it influences how teachers teach, how students behave, and how people interact with one another. According to Camber-Tambulas et al. In 2023, school culture shapes how members of the school community behave and respond to different situations. School culture becomes visible in two ways. First, through structural elements, such as school rules, routines, and schedules. Second, through social elements, such as relationships, communication, and shared meanings between teachers and students. Now let me ask you, when you walk into your school, what do you notice first? It is the way teachers greet students, the way students teach each other. These small details already tells us something about the school's culture. Examples of school cultures include teachers collaborating during planning sessions, schools holding annual recognition ceremonies, and classrooms where students feel safe sharing their ideas. So these everyday experiences reflect what the school believes and practices as a community. Next, let us talk about school values. Values are the core principles and beliefs that guide decisions and actions in a school. They reflect what the school community considers important. According to our et al. In 2023, values influence how behavior is judged and how priorities are set in educational settings. Values are not only written in mission statements, they are also shown through daily actions. Teachers and school leaders transmit values through their behavior, classroom practices, and interactions with students. Let me ask you this. If a school values respect, how do you think this shows in daily school life? Probably through polite communication, listening to others, and fair treatment of students. Common examples of school values include respect, equity, and excellence. Respect is shown when inclusive language and positive interactions are encouraged. Equity is practiced when all learners are given equal opportunities, and excellence is reflected in high academic standards and continuous teacher development. Now, let us move on to shared norms. What are shared norms? Shared norms are the unwritten rules and expectations that guide everyday behavior in school. They explain how values are practiced daily, And according to Camber Tambolas et al. In 2023, norms develop gradually through repeated experiences and shared understanding. Norms help regulate behavior even without constant supervision. For example, students usually know when to line up, when to speak, or how to behave during class discussions, often without being reminded. Think about this question. Why do students usually raise their hands before speaking, even if no one tells them to? That is a shared norm at work or at school. Examples of shared norms include arriving on time for classes, following classroom routines, and using respectful language during discussions. So these norms help maintain order and consistency in school life. Now let us connect the three concepts. School culture provides the overall context of the school. Values define what the school believes is important, and shared norms determine how those values are practiced every day. So when values are clearly shared and norms consistently reflect those values, a strong and positive school culture develops. And according to Harvard Graduate School of Education, this alignment leads to better relationships, effective teaching practices, and improved student outcomes. Simply put, culture is what we believe, values are what we stand for, and norms are what we do. To summarize, school culture, values, and shared norms shape how schools function beyond rules and policies. So school culture reflects the school's identity, values guide decisions and priorities, and shared norms translate beliefs into daily behavior. So understanding this concept helps us become more aware of our role as members of the school community. So each of us contributes to building a positive and supportive learning environment. So that concludes our discussion about defining school culture, values, and shared norms. Thank you for listening, and I encourage you to observe this concept in your own school as you move forward.